Hey guys, how's it going? Eli here, back with another video where today we're going to be having a full-on breakdown video of how to start your own Pokemon business, some of the upsides, some of the downsides, as well as if it is currently the best time to do it. Without further ado, let's just jump right into it. So as always, want to get out of the way, we're doing weekly giveaways. All you have to do to enter is be subscribed to the YouTube channel, leave a like, and comment down below on any of the 3 videos we post each and every week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We have 3 winners that'll each be winning 8 Brilliant Star booster packs. And of course, since you can comment and like on each of the 3 videos, that allows you for multiple entries as well as multiple winners. Now, jumping right into the video. So I know, typically speaking, when I create my videos, a lot of the times it will mainly be discussing, everything going down in the Pokemon market, top picks in the Pokemon market that I think that are gonna perform well, any sort of news, any sort of just economic development or kind of just advice that I can really give to people on how to make money off of Pokemon. Well, I made a video, I want to say a month or 2 ago, talking about how to offload your product if you are a short-term, medium-term, or long-term seller. But I haven't done an economic breakdown, or more specifically, just a general breakdown on how I got to where I am right now. And for those people that are interested in starting their own business, what it kind of takes to do what I do. I've had a lot of people ask me questions about that. I've given some responses that might come off as discouraging, but I'm gonna, tell you guys it's straight. I'm gonna give you the good and the bad and everything in between. So I'll give you guys a little bit of my background to start. So for those people that are unaware, I started off in the EX era, and then I grew up in, Gen 3. My first game I ever got was Pokemon Sapphire. And then I really fell in love with Gen 4 era, huge Pokemon Platinum fan. But if we're talking about just card game eras, I really did a lot of collecting in the EX, Level X, and then Black and White, Heart Gold, Soul Silver era. I did for a while have a collection of, base set unlimited product, but I wasn't really super involved in it, and I wasn't super knowledgeable in it until I would say the past couple of years. Of course, as time went on, I stopped competing in tournaments in the Black and White era, took a little bit of a break for high school and focused on sports, and then transitioned into, recollecting again back when I was in college. And so I've really, began to fall back in love with, what I grew up with Pokemon. So that is kind of my extensive knowledge in regards to Pokemon, as well as what I grew up with. Obviously, for those of you that have been following me for a while, I also know a lot about Ultra Modern, and I go off of a lot of this basic economic principles when it comes to kind of how I look at investing in Pokemon product. For those people that kind of ask me what is my financial background, I grew up with having a father who's the VP of client sales at a large marketing firm. I took about 4 or 5 years of just general economic classes, all the way from middle school up until high school. And then I went to school for an associate's degree in just basic business transfer. And then I ended up dropping out before I was going into taking a 4-year bachelor for economics. It's one of those things where for me, if I'm being completely honest, a lot of the stuff I was learning just felt really repetitive, because I've just been so blessed to have a lot of the mentors in my life who have helped me become, very financially knowledgeable, to the point of where I felt like I just wanted to really pursue my business in regards to just having that potential career path of becoming someone who could sell Pokemon for a living. So that is kind of a little bit of my background. There's a little bit of my history about myself. Now moving on to what kind of the steps that I took to get to where I am now. So I want to say back at around the start of the pandemic, I really started to look at ways to hedge against the market, because for those that were unaware, when when the pandemic started, the economy crashed pretty rapidly, and we're talking more specifically stocks. The prices just was an absolute free fall. And so in my mind, I was trying to look into things that I felt as if could be a good hedge against everything that was going on in the market, where I could really find that niche for making money. Not to mention, once they announced as well that they were going to be, giving away these multi-trillion-dollar, we'll say stimulus, rescue plans, whatever you want to call them. But the plans where they were just going to be sending out people checks. In my mind, the first thing I thought was, we're going to have some hyperinflation coming on very, very quickly. And so I wanted to find something that could be a really good form of a hedge against inflation, as well as something that could potentially perform well in the market. So at the time, I had done quite a bit of research, and I found out that Pokemon specifically and collectibles were absolutely starting to take off. And it's interesting because I say that, but also at the same time, I got in at the right time. And so I was able to buy Evolution's booster boxes for $95, $100. I was able to buy Cosmic Eclipse booster boxes for around $85, $86 at the time. So it's like, you know, the market was starting to kind of pick up because they just had a Hidden Fates 10 reprint when I got back into the market. But also the product really, especially in sealed, hadn't started to gradually rise in value. You know, I was able to buy level X cards in PSA 10 condition for around $100, and prior you're able to find them for as cheap as $20 to $50 a piece. So it was one of those things where, oh my God, the prices have doubled. And so in most people's mind, that was the start of the boom. Now I wanted to kind of capitalize on that and also look at opportunities to really jump back into the hobby. So I started collecting a lot of the Level X cards myself. I started up buying old collections that just specifically had just older product, whether it be from the Level X era, Black and White, Heart Gold era, just all of it. And my intention was to take that product and kind of, you know, make a business out of selling the cards. And then it transitioned into, well, shoot, I don't want to just sell cards. I also want to sell sealed product. You know, did a little bit more research, come to find out that eBay has a really high, you know, transaction fee, same with TCG Player. And so it was one of those things where, you know, it felt like I could make good money off of doing it, but it felt like I was going to be missing out on a lot of margins. And so in my mind, I said, screw it, I'm just going to create my own website. So basically I spent a couple of months, let's see, I really did my searching, I want to say back in February until like, April, May, did that kind of searching for product. And then I want to say once you kind of hit summer is when I started to create my actual website. And then my website went officially live October 22nd, 2020. So my business has been around now for about fully a year and a half. And this is just specifically the website. This isn't any of my other social media, videos that I post and everything, right? So with that, I wanted to, of course, buy some distributors, or not buy some distributors, but buy product from distributors, right? So I reached out to the distributors list, or I reached out to some of the distributors on the distributors list that the Pokemon company had on their website. And basically, one of the biggest issues that I was having as at the time, they were talking about, unless you had an LGS, local game store, a lot of people weren't really accepting. There were a couple that were accepting, but one of them that I did call, I just want to give them a shout out first and foremost, and I'll get into the story of this. One of them that I did call, basically Magazine Exchange. I got on a business meeting with one of their sales reps. His name was Marty. He no longer works there anymore. Great guy, had a great relationship with him. But he basically interviewed me and said, you have zero sales history. You have zero form of any, videos, nothing. Like there's nothing that we see right here that can tell us that, you're going to be a good business partner for us. So why should we take you on? And so if I'm being completely honest, whether you want to say it was luck, whether you want to say it was a blessing, in my mind, I basically said, give me 5 minutes. I'll give you a compelling speech. If you want to accept me, then awesome. If not, then I understand. And so I gave him a 5-minute spiel about how I was going to, be motivated and the resources that I had to potentially make me become successful with my business. And basically, by the grace of God or by luck, whichever way you want to look at it, he decided, you know what, that's a really compelling speech. We're going to give you a shot. And I wouldn't be here without him, so just want to give a shout out to him, and I want to give a shout out to Magazine Exchange. I've got a great business relationship with them. They're Oregon local. They're awesome. So it's one of those things where, for someone like myself in that situation right before the true boom, I got lucky. If it weren't for them, I wouldn't have been able to, kind of get my foot in the door. Where currently speaking. I know a lot of places, even more places, are just full on not even allowing people to apply because of just how hard it is for people to get in. Now, of course, if you want to try, I'm never going to discourage people. It's not my intention, at least I should say, to say don't apply for a distributor because you're going to get rejected, because you never know. they could be accepting applications again. Certain people could, have that same, blessed opportunity that I had to basically come in and, make that same argument, have that history from another business that they own, so on and so forth, to be able to get that Pokemon product. But with that, especially when Pokemon really boomed at back end of 2020, start of 2021 more specifically, before I was able to order Pokemon boxes on demand as much as I wanted. And then I want to say around Battle Styles, they started allocating them so that you were just given a certain amount and that's what you were given. There was no more open orders. So things really changed with the demand on that. And, at the time, as far as I know, Magazine Exchange closed all applications. No clue if they're closed now. You can look into it. You can give them a call. Just go to the Pokemon, distributors page on their website. You can easily give some other distributors a call, kind of put in your application and so on and so forth. But with that, moving on, if, of course, you are lucky enough to be able to get yourself a distributor, now comes the really important question. How are you going to go about selling your product? How are you going to be going about kind of getting the product? Those are two of the most important things. You might be saying to yourself, well, Eli, I just got a distributor. So, of course, that's the purpose of getting the product. But the main thing you also have to consider is, when you first start off, I don't know what your capital budget is, but when it comes to what you're going to be allocated first starting off with them, they're not going to give you everything right away. I remember when they were doing Hidden Fates ETB reprints, people were being allocated the ETB reprints, but I hadn't been working with them for over 6 months because it was happening sometime early of 2021. I started working with them sometime in early November. So I wasn't able to get allocated any of those Hidden Fates Elite Trainer boxes. They said after 6 months, then we'll start giving you allocations for other products other than the open order products you can buy. So if you want to go to open order products, some of the things that really they focused on, or at least my distributor's sales rep said, hey, focus on weekly specials. You go to the weekly specials page right now, this is all they have for Pokemon product. You can say like, oh, I can try and make some sales with these items. But if you really want to go take a look and see what everything's happening on a TCG Player Online, you say to yourself, you've got these booster boxes that you're buying from them for $88. You just go shop all, just go best selling, and then we take a look and see that the prices for the booster boxes of the ones that I just showed you that are listed, Battle Styles, same price of what you're actually buying it for on my distributors page. Fusion Strike, same price as well. And then Chilling Reign, you can get it for cheaper, if not the same price. So, of course, with that, you do get, with every 12 booster displays purchased, you do get a free Evolving Skies. But, that's one of those situations where, is that really realistic? Is that really worth it to you? It just makes it kind of tough. And then, of course, you take a look and you say, for a case of 9 of the 25th anniversary tins, we can take a look and see what those are going for now. If I'm correct, they're going for around $28, maybe $30, something around that price range. Yep, they're going for around $30. You're saying to yourself, you're getting 9 for $180. You can do the math on that. 180 divided by 9. You're going to be able to buy them for $20 a box. So you're saying to yourself, okay, that's not terrible. But then, where are you going to sell it? Are you going to sell it on your own website? You're going to have those 3.4% transaction fees on top of, are you going to pay for shipping yourself? Are you going to have website fees? Or are you going to go sell it on someplace like eBay and create your own eBay store, create your own TCG Player store? And are you going to take those extra, 10 to 15% fees, which could potentially destroy your margins, Because if you're saying to yourself, the market rate for TCG Player is $30, and then you calculate it times 0.85% because that's how much you're more than likely, this is what I calculated by, about 15% roughly. Now that comes out to about $25.50. Then say to yourself, we're just going to say hypothetically this is under a pound. We'll say it's around, half a pound. Whether you want to fudge the numbers than that, that's up to you. For me, myself, my shipping costs all in all are going to come out to around $5 on that. Take $5 away, then you're left with it costing about, get $20.50 left after just your initial shipping and your fee cost for selling on a place like TCG Player. That's about a 50% gap. That's not including, shipping product that you're going to have to buy, whether it be the boxes or the bubble wrap and so on. That's not going to be, any sort of outside fees that you could potentially have in regards to having the product shipped to you from your distributor. There's so many other things that you have to factor in, right? And so the profitability on something like this, it's just not available, right? And so with me saying that, if you are lucky enough to open an account, back when I was buying from my distributors page, they had way more Pokemon product available, way more that was available for open order. Now, not nearly as much. Now, of course, they could potentially change that. If you do come in and you are able to get some of the allocated product, then that's great. That's awesome. You're able to get some Brilliant Stars booster boxes. But, from how it happened with me, it's going to be a little bit harder. Don't want to discourage you, but that's just kind of be one of the steps in order to kind of, within your first 6 months before you get real allocations, you're going to have to be able to be comfortable enough to have enough funds to take a hit when you first start working with them, because you're going to have to go onto these special pages, quote unquote, buy product from them, build that relationship with them for 6 months. And then after that 6 months, they give you that review, they give you the green light and say, okay, you're good enough to get your own distribution, your own allocation. So now the next question, of course, obviously I mentioned a little bit about the fees and so on when it comes to selling. The next question generally comes down to, what route are you going to take, right? So obviously the route you're going to take, if you are, of course, able to get accepted by distribute, if you are able to get this product for, wholesale level prices, if we are talking, let's say, Brilliant Star booster boxes, if you're lucky to get it secondhand without needing a distributor, then great. We can also do the calculations for you as well. But if you say to yourself, you're getting about $86 a booster box, right? And then let's say that you put up sales of, sales for $140, right? About a week ago. Let's say you were selling them on TCG Player for $140. You do the math, you say about 140 times 0.85, right? This is what it's going to come down to after fees. Say minus 10. It's going to be about the average cost to ship if you are using a outside shipping source. I can, of course, show you guys how I did that and how I got access to that. So this is just going to be your general fees, once again, not including any sort of outside fees as mentioned before. Minus this, $86. It's about $23. That's not bad. That's not bad margins in the grand scheme of things. It's about, I want to say, 20 or 28% margin, almost 30%. So not terrible by any means, right? So if the prices of the Brilliant Star booster boxes are going for $140, then congratulations. However, let's say that it's a new set that comes out. Hype isn't really high for the set. It's not going for $140. Say it's going for around $120, right? Say $120 times it by 0.85, right? Minus 10. Then you're saying $92. Minus 86. It's about $6, not including, once again, shipping, material, supplies. So you could make anywhere between, a couple bucks to $6 at the most. So you really got to calculate to yourself, if you are selling on TCG Player, when there's such a fluctuating market, with all the fees that they're offering, with all the fees that come with selling at the prices that they sell at, is it worth it? Because you might say to yourself, if I'm able to get access to a booster box, let's say you're able to buy a Vivid Voltage booster box for, $86, right? $90. Selling at this price is still going to only make you a couple bucks, maybe 10% at most if you're lucky on your overall net margin. So selling on TCG Player might not be optimal unless you're able to sell it for that more comfortable MSRP rate, $144, that kind of is given by the Pokemon company. With eBay, it's a little bit different. It's about 12 to 13% fees, whereas TCG Player is about 15% once you start hitting that pro status after you've sold X amount of product. With that, of course, comes a different form of exposure because TCG Player is solely geared towards it. eBay, you can, of course, advertise yourself a little bit differently, but you got to really weigh your cost out. So the other question remains, is it worth it to build your own website? In my personal opinion, I think the answer ultimately is yes. I do think it's way worth it. So for those people that are asking, if I do get all these things, Eli, should I design my own website? Yes, I think it would be smart. Now, of course, there's very many different ways in which you can create your own website. For me personally, I created with Wix. Now, I can make some complaints about the issues that I have with Wix, but ultimately, I can't fully complain on the way in which my website was fully designed. We can take a look at my website. Whoopsie, that is not my website. That is the Wix dashboard. My website, as you guys can see, for those people that know, PokemonUSA.com, if you want to take a look at some of the product. But I just have my general homepage. I've got my breaks page. I like the kind of way it's outlined. I like the UI. I think it's pretty clean, pretty simple. You go to the breaks page, you look at the product, you want to add to cart, great. Where's your cart? Boom, right there. Click on it, have your face, where's your cart? Got, for anyone interested in reviews, you can go product reviews. You can see everything that people have said in regards to my product, so on and so forth. And you really care to look at my 38 reviews. Shout out to the people that have left reviews. Just go on, click product reviews, pretty nice. It's right on the left-hand tab. We've got Pokemon sealed mystery boxes. We've got Pokemon sealed product. We've got general members page that we have, of course, for those people that know about that, and so on and so forth. Like I like the layout. I like the design. Of course, on and off, it took me several months to design. It costs you about a couple $100 a year, I want to say, in website fees. So it's not ridiculously expensive by any means, but it's still a different sort of fee you have to really calculate. But in my opinion, at the end of it all, it's going to end up saving you way more money in the long run. However, here's the caveat. When you're making sales on your own website, you're not going to get the same exposure as if you were to sell on, say, TCG Player. That's where the difference is. Same with eBay as well, with coming up with your own design. So you're going to have to be able to market yourself. So that's the real next question that we're getting into. First thing we talked about is, how do you get that distributor? Once you get that distributor, how are you going to get that product? Once you got that product, how are you going to sell it? Next thing we're going to talk about is how you're going to market yourself. Now, of course, self-explanatory, like I just said with eBay and TCG Player, you have the general self-marketing. However, for myself, one of the big things that I was really blessed with is I had a great community of people, specifically the mods and a lot of the OGs from the Pokemon TCG deals on Discord, who actually I made friends with. And I really use that as kind of like an engagement area for me to sell a lot of my Pokemon product. I would tell people, hey, I'm getting this Pokemon product from my distributors page. I just started this business. I'm literally willing to sell anything for any price. Just let me know what you want. I'll tell you what I can sell you it for, and we'll make a deal. And then from that, I was able to build a lot of relationships with people. I was able to offer a lot of product for an affordable rate. But also, since I was selling so many, because literally it was like custom orders that I was creating with people for what they deemed as a fair price, I was able to have high enough of a volume to make decent margins for someone that was starting out their businesses early on, and as fast of a rate as I did. And with that, you start building your own base of people that are coming to your site. You have your own kind of subscribers page in regards to your email campaign list. So I have like a campaign list of like almost 1,000 people on it, so that whenever new product comes out, shoot an email, let people know, and about 95% of the time, I'll sell at least, 33% of the product that I have listed, if not sometimes 100%, depending upon the product that I'm putting up for kind of advertisement. So that's one of the things that I've been able to grow from just having that kind of exposure, just specifically from the Discord, right? I also have an Instagram website an Instagram page that I use. Now, I'm not as active on my Instagram page, but back when I was, and I'm going to be shortly, actually, we'll talk about this in a different video, but I'm actually going to start getting back into Instagram, being more active on it. But I was also able to advertise whenever I got more product on that page. Got about 700 followers on that. And so, through social media, basically, the point I'm trying to make is that you can really, if you're creative enough, if you're open enough, you're going to be able to create that own self-exposure. Now, of course, if you don't want to go that route, I highly recommend it first and foremost. But if you don't want to go that route, you can go the route of paying for your own ads. So basically, the only problem I have with that, and I don't even pay for ads anymore. I used to pay for ads, but it's at a point now where it was no longer profitable because I would sell my product so fast that I was like, why would I pay for ads actively if I have no product to sell? And so, and it's not even one of these things where, oh, I'm flexing because I have such great exposure. It was the amount of product that I was realistically selling was only like $10,000 worth of product, right? Some of these other big box stores or retailers or so on and so forth, they're selling hundreds of thousands upon millions of boxes. So it's going to take a lot longer for them to sell out versus someone small like me, $10,000. That's like less than 100 booster boxes, guys. And if you have someone buy like multiple cases, then that's super, like your inventory is going so much faster and you can sell it so quick, especially for specialty sets like Champion's Path or Shining Fates or Celebrations and so on and so forth, because those ones will sell out on my site like that, right? So with that, of course, really leads into the whole point of, okay, I'm getting that self-exposure from, social media, or it's not one of those things I want to put in the time. Like I said, recommend it. The alternate, pick is ad revenue from, or not ad revenue, but generating ads through Google. They have a basically pay per click model. You can look up their model, but from what I personally discovered, spending about $5, $10 a day comes out to several hundred a month. If you're not generating at least several $100s a month in net profit, in regards to what you're spending for your Google ads and get that exposure. Now, starting off, it wouldn't be a bad idea, especially because, like I said before, you're going to have to be able to, take a hit to start off because you need to kind of build up that clientele base, build up that active amount of people that are coming back to your site, whether it be purely based off of, that exposure you got from ads or whether you got it from social media. I just know that it's really healthy to have that kind of authentic growth from having people, genuinely find you on social media and clicking those hyperlinks, or they're actively coming back because you were in some sort of a Discord forum post or Reddit post or someone else is self-advertising for you. Having that, authentic traffic that comes with, building your social media is not going to be something that you're going to able to garner as much as when you're spending money on ads. You can, of course, find people, but it's not going to be something like creating a loyal base of people that follow you on your other social media platforms, right? So short term, ads could be good, but long term, I would gear more towards social media, but you can still use ads to kind of subsidize if you do have a lot of product that you can't seem to sell. So that's kind of the next route you want to talk about when going with your kind of advertising. So once again, breaking it fully down. How to get your distributor. Once you got your distributor, how to get your product. Once you've gotten your product, how to sell your product. And once you have product or you're looking at selling certain product, what are the avenues, and taking said avenues, how are you going to market yourself? So these are things you have to once again calculate. And even then too, you also want to deem what the market is showing these prices for. Because typically speaking, since there's not as high as fees when it comes to selling my website, if we're not talking about general several $100s a year website fees, we're just talking about, general sales fees, I'm being charged just a flat 3.4% PayPal fee versus 15% on, TCG Player or eBay. The fees that I'm getting on that are like literally 10 to 12% cheaper. And so I'm able to offer a product 10 to 12% cheaper on my website. And so with that, that's another one of the costs you have to ask yourself when starting off the business, is what are you going to do to compete? What are you going to do to stand out different than other people? Because you have to be creative. And this is going to be one of the wrap up points. We've almost been going for half an hour. I'm hoping that if we do continue on, we won't go for that much longer. But one of the main wrap up points that I want to say is what's going to make you different. What is going to make you special? What's going to make you unique when it comes to your own business? Are you, once of course you're advertising people, let's say that you're selling your Pokemon boxes of Brilliant Star for $100 right now, right? Well, how are you going to let people know you're selling them for $100, right? How are you going to advertise yourself that you're selling them for $100? Or let's say that you can't afford to sell them for $100, but you need to find a way to still offload that product and make margins that are worth your time. Are you going to come up with bundles? Are you going to come up with breaks? Are you going to come up with a special way in which you sell the product off at individual prices? How much are you going to charge for shipping? Are you offering free shipping? But basically, one of the most important things in regards to how you're going to stay alive in this business, especially when, you know, you're saying to yourself, you might go a full on year or so without generating revenue, is what are you going to do, or how are you going to stand out and be creative in the way in which you sell things, as well as gain exposure for yourself, right? Now, like I said, for myself, I, you know, advertise myself through Discord. I made relationships. I'm very much a people person. You know, I'm the type of person that I like to, you know, and I hope I say this as like, I hope the way that this comes off is not deemed in any sort of a negative light, but I try to be very down to earth in regards to how I am with my customers, how I am with my friends that I've made along the way through this Pokemon journey, right? Like the mods that I have now and the people that are part of the OGs in Discord, like these are people that have been with me since the very beginning, that have helped give me that feedback, that have helped said, you should do this, Eli, you shouldn't do this, Eli. You know, these are the type of, like, you know, people that I wouldn't be here without, you know? And so I value them like immensely. And the people that watch this video and the new people that are coming on, I value you guys too as well. There's no like kind of, you know, and there's no kind of favoritism with that, but with it, there still is kind of that recognition of, hey, I wouldn't be here without the people that have been supporting me for as long as I have, you know? And so with that, I have built a long, you know, lasting, you know, kind of relationship with a lot of these people where they come in, buy my product, and they support me, whether it be because they like the product that I put out with my YouTube channel, whether they like the prices that I put out on my website, or they just like me as a person and like to support me. What is it exactly that is, you know, kind of luring you in to make you stand out as well when it comes to selling your product? Are you selling literal product like Pokemon, or are you selling yourself and then people want to support you? And from that, of course, if you offer good prices, then that's also, in my eyes, going to show a reflection on you as an individual, on what your motivations are. And also at the same exact time, you know, it's going to really tell people, hey, I want to support this guy, but if they're selling, you know, prices $20 over market value, I don't know if I can afford that. Like, I want to support you, but I also got to make it worth it for my pocketbook. So having that kind of balance, I also think, is very important when it comes to kind of figuring out, you know, how you're going to build that relationship. Because one of the biggest things I've really learned in business, and I learned this from my dad a lot, and I'm really blessed to have him as a mentor in my life, is you have to be relational when it comes to business. You have to be able to, you know, and it's funny because I say have to be able to, but for someone like myself, I love this. I love to be able to build these relationships. I love being able to have, you know, the conversations that I have with you guys, the Q&As, the comments section, the, you know, Discord chats, the, you know, Discord call, whatever it is, because I've had so many of that, and I love that. But for those people that are not as extroverted as myself, and a lot more of an introverted, it's got to be one of these things where, you know, you got to be able to open up yourself to being authentic, being open, being able to have these friendships, these, you know, relationships. And, you know, it sounds, some people might say that might sound easy, but for some people, you know, it doesn't come naturally. It doesn't come easy, you know. It's just all different in regards to, you know, some people's assets and skills. And, you know, maybe that's not your skill, right? You don't fully have to, you know, go and approach it from that perspective. Maybe you're much more of an introvert, and, you know, you're able to still come off in a way in which you're really good at, you know, kind of the branding aspect, the advertising aspect, and you're a lot better behind a keyboard and not behind a camera like myself. Like, you can still build that relationship. You just got to be able to play to your strengths and be creative and know what you're kind of best, you know, suitable for, and being able to put yourself out there, put your product out there. Because at the end of the day, you know, Pokemon USA is a brand. You know, whether people like the name for the YouTube channel or not. Obviously, it was designed off of the website in and of itself, and then from that kind of expanded into a social media, hopefully a social media brand. Of course, it's not a large brand. It's not it's not a large intellectual piece of property, but it is still a brand nonetheless, and that is what this is. This is what my YouTube videos are. That is what my posts on social media are. That is what my website is, right? So you have to be able to build that brand for yourself so that when people think of Pokemart USA, they develop these videos that help me make money or help me invest or give me advice about certain things, whatever it is. And then when you think about Pokemart USA, they understand that brand recognition that allows them to go to your website. They understand that brand recognition that wants them to support you. They understand that, brand recognition that keeps them coming back to your videos, right? What is it, once again, that's going to help you build that kind of brand recognition for yourself at the end of the day? And that is kind of the main important parts, right? So going for about 35 minutes, final wrap-up points, final main points, right? And this is, since it's going to be bullet points on this one, so I can't literally go in depth on something that took me 35 minutes, so I'll just say the main points and the main questions you ask yourself. 1, how are you going to get a distributor? And once you get to the point of getting a distributor, your next step. How are you going to get the product from your distributor? It's not as simple as you're just going to get it, because like I told you earlier, I had to build a relationship before I was really starting to grow and get more product. Third question is, now that you have that product, how are you going to sell it? eBay, TCG, build your own website. That's kind of the route you got to take. So and then the next part, if you decide not to go eBay, if you decide not to go TCG Player because of fees, how are you going to create your website? Are you willing to put in the time? Are you going to spend the money? What's your kind of allocated capital in regards to how you're going to advertise yourself? Next is, once again, advertising yourself. What is kind of going to be the way in which you gain yourself exposure? Is it going to be because you brand yourself as a person, or is it going to be because you're just ultimately building, a website for yourself where you're just going to throw up ads you're going to spend money for? Of course, you can go click back and see what I said in regards to that. And last thing, going back to brand. What is going to make you kind of important? What's going to make you stand out to people? What is going to make people want to come back to your specific brand, think of your brand, and want to buy from you, whether it be because you offer better prices, you offer something that they enjoy, that they think is creative outside the box and no one else, creates, or what is something that you are going to basically be able to, bring to the table that's just generally creative from like a relational perspective. So, and whether you want to say that's the last point or this is the last point, relationships, in my personal opinion, are key, and being open, transparent when it comes to what you do as a business is one of the most valuable things, I would say, because ultimately speaking, and this is just a general parable of life in my personal opinion, is you get most places in the relationships that you have. In college, you can go to college, get a 4-year, get a 2-year, but if you don't have certain connections, you're not going to get jobs places. A lot of opportunities just open up in life because you happen to know someone, right? And like I said before, I wouldn't be here if it weren't for the people that have been around me from the very beginning. And that's, one of my, in my personal opinion, most important things at the end of the day. Whether you do decide to sell product or just decide to do just general video talks, which of course I do both of. But that's kind of the main point and breakdown of just the steps ultimately to creating your own Pokemon selling business, or just a general, card selling business. Of course, this could apply to so many different things, but I just broke it down in the way in which I got to the point of where I am right now. Now, of course, this is a little bit different of a video. This is, a lot less market informative. So I don't expect this video to pop off super strong in regards to, engagement rate. But if it does, awesome. If not, that's okay, because I'm here to bring out content to you guys. And I saw some people request this video, so I'm going to put out this video and give the most in-depth kind of, personal process to doing your own steps on your Pokemon journey for the business that you hope to create in the future, if that is something that you see yourself doing. But with that being said, that is all I have for the video. As always, make sure that if you want to enter into our weekly giveaways, all you have to do is be subscribed to the YouTube channel, leave a like, comment down below, and we have 3 winners each and every week. 8 Brilliant Star booster packs, I should say, is going to be given away to all of the winners. Of course, since we post videos Monday, Wednesday, Friday, that allows you as well for multiple entries. So multiple ways to enter, multiple opportunities to win. But like I said before, hopefully you guys found this video informative. If you have any questions, other concerns, or just anything in general, if there's a topic you want me to kind of touch on or discuss, please feel free to let me know. But that is all I have for today's video. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Until then, I will see you guys on Monday. Peace.